Abuja is the federal capital territory of Nigeria, and doing real estate business here requires some personal skills, and there are things you definitely need to know before you start doing business in Abuja in real estate. Like if you want to buy a land, you want to buy a house, or you want to, basically anything in real estate. The system here is a bit different from other states, and you definitely need some good guidance, or you definitely need some good information before you be able to navigate the terrain here, so that you don't get scammed, or you don't get your money stuck somewhere and you'll not be able to get it back, right? So that's what I, myself, and Sadiq are going to be discussing today. Now, Sadiq has been in the Abuja real estate scene for over a decade, and these guys have done a lot here. Build houses, lands, and all, and they still control a lot of those properties here currently. So, first of all, when you come to Abuja to come and do business in real estate, what are the things that you need to know, right? So those are some of the things we are going to be discussing today, amongst a lot of other things. So, Mr. Sadiq, Abuja is different from Lagos. Lagos is now everybody in Lagos is going to Ipejuleki. That's where it is happening.
Yes.
The normal Lagos is full. Ikeja is full.
Very
in fact,
true.
right now, if you want to build a house in Ikeja, you have to buy a house and break it down and use the land to build what you want.
Yes.
So, first of all, why Abuja? Why shouldn't I go to Lagos and buy a property and build a house? Why should I come to Abuja? What are the benefits,
Mr. Kingsley asked me a question, why Abuja? Why not Lagos? Why not
Lagos?
Port Harcourt?
Yeah.
Why not Ibadan? Why not anywhere else? Yes. For real estate investment anywhere in the world is a very viable investment.
Of course.
Yes, once you have done your proper findings, anywhere you invest in is good, but Abuja is very peculiar. It's very different. Abuja is the nation's capital. In fact, it's the most intentional capital in the whole of West Africa.
Okay.
There is no capital, there is no city that is as properly planned as FCT. It was planned from the ground up.
Okay.
Unlike other cities where you have cities happening accidentally, FCT is not like that.
Okay.
It was designed from scratch that, okay, this has to be like this. So aside that, you have FCT expanding by about 5% on average annually.
Annually?
Yes, annually. That's about 200,000 people annually. You can imagine what that surge means for the real estate market. When you have a city that is expanding by about 200,000 people annually, and believe you me, the number of housing that are being developed annually is not in any way meeting up with the increase in population. So that's to tell you that there is a big, very big room for investment in real estate in Abuja. Yes. And another reason why Abuja is very peculiar, the standard of infrastructure. If you're talking about real estate, infrastructure is key. How is that place planned? How are the road networks? How are the water system, the internet, the sewages? In fact, most areas in FCT, you have the central sewage systems.
Okay.
Yes, in most states,
really?
yes, a lot of areas in FCT, you have the central sewage systems.
So you don't need to have one in your house?
No, you don't need to have one in your house.
Really?
You just connect to the central sewage system. Yes, yes, and fiber optics also in a lot of areas. Yes, within the phase 1 and phase 2 of FCT, most of the areas have fiber optics to your houses. These are things that makes real estate to appreciate.
Yeah, when you talk about fiber optics, because in some other states, like for instance in Port Harcourt,
yes,
some of the estates there that people have to pay these companies to come and install these things inside their estates.
Yes.
For them to enjoy it.
Yes.
So it seems in Abuja now it's natural.
The infrastructure is there.
Oh wow.
Yes, in most places in phase 1, phase 2, the infrastructure is there. And these infrastructures now, despite all real estates will appreciate over time, these are what gives that very fast appreciation in prices of real estate, the infrastructure. Obviously, FCT has one of the best infrastructure in Africa. There is no doubt about. The next reason we should look at why Abuja is the increase in demand in luxury properties.
Okay.
Yes, there is a serious demand in, there is a serious surge, there is a serious increase in the demand for luxury properties in Abuja. A while ago, I was discussing with one of my mothers in real estate. So she was now telling me the aspect of real estate she wants to focus in, that unlike how real estate is being done conventionally here, that you see one real estate company having 500 houses, 200 houses, 100 houses, that she wants to specialize in luxury. That in a year or two, she might just do 1 or 2 houses. How it's being done in New York, you realize that a particular developer takes 2 years, 1 year to develop just a single property.
Okay.
But if you get inside those properties and see how much attention they put to
details.
every single details in that house, you'll be wondering, how did this happen? Is it by accident? So she was telling me that she wants to go into that luxury property. I was now wondering, I said, at what range is she looking at selling? She said around 3 billion, 2.5 billion, 4 billion, 5 billion naira. I was now wondering that, wow, do people buy such properties? You know, there is a place that if you have not gotten to, you have not gotten to that place.
Of course.
Yes, but there are people that is exactly what they are looking for.
Because
she now gave me,
come to think of it, we're looking at it in naira.
exactly,
In naira value.
Exactly.
$2
exactly.
billion will just be like $2 million or
Yes,
1 point something million
exactly.
at this point.
So she now gave me instances of properties of that nature, that requests she has, and other related
People are already requesting for things like
people
that.
are already requesting. In fact, even her own personal house that she developed to that standard, people wants to buy
to buy it from her.
Yes.
Ah.
So there is an increase in wealth generally, and Abuja is the right place for such. You know, there is one funny thing about a lot of people. Once people hear property of 2 billion, 3 billion, the next thing you hear is government money. They stole the money, they do this. The truth is that the amount of wealth in the world is increasing. Let me digress a bit now. If you take for an example, in 2017, the world has just about, Africa has just about 5 unicorn brands. Fast forward to 2023, Africa has about 10 unicorn brands.
When you say unicorn brands, what type?
Okay, unicorn brands basically are brands that have a market capitalization of about 1 billion naira, and they are not yet on the stock market. So you have those brands like the Jumia, like Andela, like Interswitch.
Okay.
Yes, these are unicorn brands. So that is to tell you that the wealth is actually increasing by the day.
Right.
Yes. So if you are hearing properties of 2 billion, 5 billion, 10 billion, it's not all government's money.
Yeah, you know, you have to understand.
Yes.
A lot of people think that when they say Abuja, the politicians say that, so everybody they steal money, everybody they chop money.
So
government money. Like, okay, see, I posted a video on my Instagram the other day.
Yes.
You saw that video, and I saw several comments of people saying that now people thief money, and then they stay for Abuja. So it's quite understandable when people feel that way. We are in the seat of power.
Exactly.
So
but it's actually far away from that. And the next thing you should be considering, you should look at to invest in Abuja, is that there are a lot of new areas being developed from time to time.
Okay.
Yes, and in real estate, there are factors you should look out for if you're investing in a particular location. Number one is a bulging population, a population that is expanding.
Okay.
If that population is an urban population, it's an added advantage. In most places in FCT, you have that happening simultaneously.
Okay.
That's to tell you that, man, this is opportunity for people to make billions upon billions in those areas. The second factor is presence of government institutions. In fact, as at the time you are investing in those areas, those institutions might not even be there.
Yeah.
But the plan is that in 3 years, in 5 years, those institutions will be there.
Okay.
don't wait until those things get to that place.
Place.
You have a lot of those because of the level of planning in FCT. You can easily identify those areas. The next is the planning, the infrastructure in that place. You can have, in fact, there are areas today where, for example, from those areas to the town today might be as far as 15 kilometers. But the main road that has been planned for those places can just be 4 kilometers, 5 kilometers to the central area. If you take, for example, now the Asoko Road 2, today from most places to Asoko Road 2 might be like 11 kilometers or so. But the actual roads, they plan for those areas in the future are like 4 kilometers, 5 kilometers to the central areas. So those are things you should look out for. Another factor you should look out for is the zoning of that area. Is it designed for an industrial layout? Is it designed for a residential area? So Abuja has been properly designed, and what happens is that there is a sense of predictability if you are investing in Abuja. Unlike areas where in the states where the planning is poor, here if you understand real estate and understand how trends work, you can easily identify, let me run to this place and yes,
put in my money
and strategize in this place and see how things go. Yes. So,
all right. If so, now I haven't gotten all this information and all these beautiful things you've said.
Yes.
Let's assume now that I, Kingsley, I have come to Abuja now, and I want to come and invest.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I want to come and invest in Abuja Real Estate, or I want to come and I'm a novice. What are the right ways I'm supposed to step into the market or into the Abuja market? What are the right ways I'm supposed to step in here and invest my money?
Okay. So in Abuja, there are 3 common ways through which people acquire real estate properties. Yes. The first one is applying to the FCT minister directly and getting direct allocation.
FCT minister in charge of the FCT.
Yes, in charge.
Like currently, Governor Wike.
Yes.
Governor Wike.
Yes, your former state governor.
Yeah, former state governor.
Very good. So applying directly through the FCT minister and getting direct allocation. Although that process is long.
That's what I wanted to ask you. Wouldn't that take forever?
In fact,
because those offices are usually very busy.
The funny thing is that as at between 2019 to 2023, on annual basis, the number of applications are mostly in excess of 8 million. On annual basis, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So what are the chances that you make it about 8 million people?
The chances that you will get such allocations can be almost 0.something%.
Okay.
Yes. So that is the first way.
Okay.
The second way now is through direct purchase.
From real estate companies.
Those that have the allocation now. The
like real estate companies.
In fact, even real estate companies are mostly not the first allotee, they buy. So you can buy from those that have it, either the real estate companies or individuals or other organizations that by chance got allocation. That's one of the most common way. And the third is to partner with people that already have those allocations.
Like your company?
Yes. Okay. Yes, you can partner in terms of development, in terms of sale, long-time lease, a lot of different partnerships. Okay. So that is how those allocations are. That's how to get property. Now, if you're buying, which is one of the most common way, which most people do, there are procedures to that.
Okay.
Which I would like to quickly
go ahead, take your time, because that information is quite vital.
Exactly. So if you're buying a property in Abuja now, the first thing you need to do is to determine exactly what you want and how much is your budget.
Okay.
Yes. You determine, okay, I need a terrace house in so area and my budget is this. So you have simplified the work for your broker.
And yourself.
and yourself, very good. Because if you reach out to him, if you tell him the budget, tell him what you're looking for, he will advise you immediately that, okay, this thing does not work like this. They are above this budget. You should be looking at so and so. Very good. So now, if you have determined, okay, this is what you want, you have reached out to your broker, the next step is your scouting.
Okay.
Yes, going to check different available options. You mostly scout when it's residential property, if it's a property you want to stay in. If let's say it's land for investments, you might not necessarily have to carry out scouting. What you need is a visionary real estate company that understands the terrain, that understands properties that have potential.
Of course, like you people know.
Very good. And key into their vision.
And their offers.
Very good. Now, after your scouting stage, the next stage is your inquiry stage.
Okay.
It's at your inquiry stage you are gathering information, knowing that this man that said he has this land in Gwagwalada, is he what title does he have? Is he the owner?
Original owner.
Is it a company? Okay, who owns that company? At your inquiry stage, you are gathering information.
Okay.
Those information you are gathering at your inquiry stage are the information you need at your search and verification stage.
Search and verification stage.
Yes, search and verification stage. That is your next step.
Okay.
At your search and verification stage now, you're going to need the services of two other professionals now, a surveyor and a lawyer.
A lawyer, okay.
Yes. Now, a lawyer is conducting a search, but before a lawyer conducts a search, a surveyor is required to get the coordinates from the ground, from the land you are being showed.
Sure.
That, okay, this is the land here. A surveyor needs to conduct a survey on that land to ascertain that the document you're conducting a search with is for that exact plot that you are being showed.
Okay.
Because most dubious developers do what is called coordinate flying. Okay. A developer can be showing you a plot on land A, while the title he's giving you, the clean title he's giving you, is for land B.
Oh.
So you go and conduct a search on this land B, they will tell you that land is okay. Probably that is somebody's house that is already inside. While where they are showing you and selling to you is this land B that probably is an FCT water infrastructure plant that is aimed to be there, or power plant that is aimed to be there in the future.
Oh.
So you need a surveyor to go and ascertain that, okay, this place is as it is on paper. Very good. Once you have done that, next, for most big transactions, you are not stopping at your search. You're not stopping at your ages search. You'll still need to go deeper.
Okay.
Yes, to URP now, urban and regional planning.
Okay.
Yes. So now the URP, why you're going there is to know that, okay, you have been presented with a title. The title is showing that this is designed to be a residential property. You're going there to ascertain that in URP, urban and regional planning, is it the same? Because recently I saw a transaction where search was done at Aegis, everything was all right. The land was priced at about 5 billion naira.
Okay.
But a finding at URP showed that this land is a district park.
And that is supposed to be there in the future.
Yes, that is supposed to be there in the future. And district park in FCT, only the president has the power to change the purpose of a district park, not even the FCT minister. That is not even part of the authority that has been designated to the FCT minister to carry out on behalf of the president. So that is to tell you that if by chance you rely on just that search and pay for that land, you are in a big mess.
One is gone.
Very good. So that is now your all your verification stage, ascertaining that okay, this company is a registered company, these are the founders of this company, you're dealing with more than one director, and it's actually good for most big transactions. You deal with more than one director of that company, because we have seen instances where some directors will come out that director just went and did that transaction alone. They are not aware this and that. So for big transactions, you need more than one director of that company. So once you are done with your verification stage, the next stage is your contract of sale.
Okay.
Yes. This contract of sale now, every single thing you guys have discussed, everything the buyer promised you, and everything the seller is expecting from the buyer are documented in the contract of sale. This document in the future is protecting both the buyer and the seller. Yes. Now, as the buyer, the contract of sale is let me give you an instance now.
Okay.
Let's say I'm a real estate developer. I have a property for distress sale.
Okay.
Probably that property on a norm is supposed to be worth 100 million naira.
Okay.
But because I need money urgently, I'm willing to give you for 50 million naira.
Okay.
And you said you're giving me 30 million naira. In 3 months' time, you're giving me 20 million naira.
Okay.
As at the time you were giving me that 30 million naira, I'm okay with that transaction. I'm happy because it's solving
my problem at that point.
Yes, the problem at that particular point. But 2 months later, another buyer came around for that property and is willing to offer 120 million naira outright. Most dubious sellers will be willing to give you your 30 million naira back that they are no longer interested in that transaction.
Why?
That is where your contract of sale is protecting you.
Oh, okay.
On the other hand, now, as a seller, you can decide that, okay, because of this 30 million naira that this person has given me, I'll keep this property for him until that 3 months. Even if 100 buyers come, even if they are offering 150 million, I'll not sell to them. All those potential buyers will come and go. You'll tell them you're not selling to them. And at the end of the day, this man will say he's no longer buying. Please give him his money after you have allowed all those buyers to go. So this contract of sale is both protecting the buyer and the seller. So once a contract of sale has been signed, everything is okay. Transaction has been finalized, times of payment have been finalized and they have been met. The last phase is your second to the last phase is your deed of assignment or deed of partitioning.
Okay, so I think that will bring me to the next question I had in mind to ask you.
Yes.
Meaning, if I were to come to Abuja now, I want to invest in properties. Are there special documents I should look out for? Are there documents that are peculiar to the FCT that is different from other states, right?
Yes. Okay. Now, for that your question, it's not as if they are different in terms of name, but they are different in terms of how they are being assigned. Or issued or allocated. Let me give you example now. There are two major categories of titles in FCT.
In the FCT,
Yes, two popularly known categories of titles in FCT. You have your statutory allocations and you have your customary allocations. The customary allocations are those titles that were issued by area councils, the Abuja area councils. You have the Buhari area council, the Koji area council, the AMAC, Abuja Municipal Area Council, the Buhari area council, and so on. But they were stopped from issuing titles as at 2004.
Well,
yes, they can no longer. There were a lot of atrocities being committed by some bad eggs in the area councils. Yes, and so after a long court battle, yes, the Supreme Court in 2004 finally ruled that the area councils can no longer issue titles, but those that were issued before that ruling were still valid. Yes. Then you have your statutory title. Statutory titles now are those that are issued by the FCT minister. Yes. For the customary titles now, you have your customary right of occupancy RFO.
Okay.
Then you have your customary C of O. Now, you also have on the statutory title, you have your statutory right of occupancy, customary C of O, statutory right C of O, and also there's another common title that you come across in FCT called the letter of intent.
Letter of intent.
Yes, letter of intent.
Okay.
Yes, it's the third most common title you come across in FCT, and basically what that letter of intent is, it's more like a letter, a document, telling you that okay, the FCT minister has decided to allocate this plot of land to you if you meet so condition.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and mostly that condition is to develop at least 30% of that property within a 3 or 5 years, depending on the size
of the property
of that particular property.
Okay.
Yes, so those are the two categories, and you have right of occupancy, you have the C of O.
Who issues this letter?
Is the FCT minister.
Okay. How easy is it for you to get it?
No, letter of intent are not that easy to get, just like a direct allocation. If you have gotten a letter of intent, it's as good as you have gotten an allocation.
Oh.
It's no longer subject to the minister to give you, it's subject to your performance.
To keep the property?
Yes, to keep the property. So it's subject to your performance to fully make it yours.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Now, so are you saying here now that if I wanted to buy, let's assume now that I live abroad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I want to buy. I have money. I have the money, and I intend to invest in Abuja, in real estate in Abuja now.
Yes.
Are you saying that I will have to go through all these tedious processes for me? Well, I don't. Let me not call them tedious processes, but I'll have to go through all these processes before I can get a land or buy a house, or your company, which is Citybet, you guys do real estate,
yes,
and you have been doing it for a very long time.
Yes.
Is there a way that you help your clients acquire these documents without them having to go through all these lengthy processes of going to the FCT minister's office, which of course you and I know how busy those places can be,
yes,
and how cumbersome it can be. You might
yes,
not even get you just mentioned that in annually they get like 8 million applications.
Yes,
you
that's
get
correct.
So is there a way you guys handle these things for clients?
Now, for direct allocations, there are a lot of frauds and scandals in that aspect, so we actually don't.
Sorry, let me, before you go, what is a direct allocation?
Okay, direct allocation means an allocation directly from the FCT minister.
Okay.
Yes. In fact, most real estate companies that wants to keep their good name is as good as that aspect does not exist for them.
Okay.
Yes, for like us now, is as good as that aspect does not
because of the
exist,
level of fraud,
because there are a lot of scandals to that. So it's not something you should say you want to do for somebody.
Okay.
Yes, but if it's in the open market, yes, we know the areas that are right for investment. We know the areas that within a 3-5 years time will boom, as we have seen those trends over and over. And we have properties in those strategic locations. So for like those types, we can partner with clients and help them invest in such areas that they don't have to go through that cumbersome process.
Okay.
Yes.
In other words, you guys can help provide these documents without all these brouhaha
Yes, that's correct.
that you normally go through. Okay, so before we go ahead to other questions,
Yes.
I want to ask you, how easy is it or how easy will it be for me as a first timer investing in Abuja
Yes.
to invest for land banking?
Okay.
You get, because I mean, it's the FCT, so
Yes.
you buy land and keep, and you are not using it, or you're
Yes.
not thinking it's inside. Somebody can, people here have power. It's not just about the money; they have power.
Yes.
Maybe one president can come down that
Yes.
somebody that knows it will use the power of the. So how safe will you say it is for people to invest or do land banking in the FCT?
FCT. Okay. There is a trend I noticed in Lagos. How popular land bankings are in.
Yes, it is very popular around there.
Yes, in
mostly in
Lagos.
Ibejuleki.
Yes.
Because they say that's a new Lagos, so
Yes.
the forecast there is very high. So
Very
a
high.
lot of people are buying for land
So,
banking.
if you understand the trend in FCT, land banking is not as popular as it is in
In
Lagos.
Yeah,
And
because I
there is
hardly hear anybody talk about it
very
around
good,
here.
Very good, and there is a reason to that.
Okay.
Yes, unlike in Lagos or other parts where if you're buying land, you're looking at 10 years or a
5
long
years
time.
to keep it at resale.
These developments are happening like wildfire in FCT.
Okay.
Yes, you will visit an area today, hoping that okay, it will take this
Amount of time to develop.
There is an area in Kabusu where they're like in 2019 we were supposed to make a major acquisition. When I went back to that area recently, the estates I saw in that place, I was wondering, is it the same place or it's another road? I checked. It was that same place. So it's happening extremely fast here. So land banking is not too popular. In terms of the safety you're talking about now, for lands in FCT, there are regulations.
Okay.
Yes, and what I mean is that if you have a land, there's a ground rent you're supposed to be paying. For example, now recently that FCT minister did revocation. Those that have been paying their ground rents were not part of those lands that were revoked.
Okay.
I know of a land that was issued as far back as the 90s, and when they checked, that man has paid only 120,000 naira ground rent. That land is worth over 5 billion naira today. The only thing that saved that land was that he paid a ground rent of about 120,000 naira.
Wow.
So a lot of people just get lands and go back to sleep. So once you are going to understand that, okay, there's an obligation, those ground rents are typically peanut. In fact, I see people paying, somebody can just say, okay, this is 100,000 naira, spread it for me 5 years. If it's a small land,
is that small?
depending on the location of the land, it can be that small. 200,000, 300,000, depending on the location of the land and the size, it can be very, very insignificant. But you know, Nigerians are very, what should I call it, about such.
Sometimes you can be nonchalant about certain things.
Exactly. So.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. Well, thanks for that clarification, because I hardly hear anybody around here talk about land banking.
Yes.
You know, when you go to Lagos, mostly in Lagos, everybody is talking about land banking. In fact, 90%, let me not say 90%, I don't know the statistics, but a lot of the lands around that Bejuleki area are all, people are buying them for land banking. In fact, a lady reached out to me recently from the US. She wanted to do 10 acres of land.
Wow.
And so what she was asking me for was, she needs a place that she can put in the money, buy the property, fence it, and keep it.
Yes.
And in at least 5 years' time, she should be able to sell it for a good turnover.
Yes.
You know, and most of these people that reached out for me, that normally reach out to me for things like this, you will never hear them mention Abuja.
Very good.
Because
Now,
I don't know why.
let me give you an instance now. You see, like in Abuja now, that 5 acres you talked about, that's like an estimated 2.5 hectares. You know, we use more of hectares in Abuja than acres. That's like an estimated 2.5 hectares in Abuja. In FCT now, if you buy and fence such land, let me give you an instance now. Let's say you're an investor, you buy and fence 2.5 hectare in Asokoro. The value as at of today is around 75, that's 150. You're talking of about 200 million naira. If you buy and fence that land, within 3 years or thereabout, a lot of developers will come looking for you for joint ventures.
Oh.
A lot of developers will come looking for you for joint ventures. They will want to develop, give you some part and take some part.
Which would be a deal for you.
In fact, that 2.5 hectares now, if you are having a mixed development of terraces and duplexes, it will take about 60 units of terraces and duplexes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, about 60 units.
That's a lot.
Yes, or 62 or thereabout.
For a 200 million naira investment?
Yes, for a 200 million naira investment, even if they are giving you a 30% of that units, you're looking at having about 20 units of those duplexes in the future.
Which might cost like maybe 400 million.
Very good.
Or 300 million.
Even if those prices are just 100 million naira.
Per piece.
That's a 2 billion naira.
Wow.
So in FCT, those things happen every now and then, and they don't take that long to happen. Once you're strategic about your planning, those things happen really, really, really fast. Yes.
Okay. Wow. The real estate industry here is I think it's on its own.
Yes, definitely.
It's not like in other places.
Yes, it's not.
Because it seems like a lot of people are running down here, probably to come and acquire properties, or it's Abuja now.
Yeah.
And every new government that comes to will come with its own badge of people that.
In fact, I have a friend recently that was telling me she bought a land in Enugu. I think about 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
She told me that how much was land then? 5 million. She said now the land is worth either 18 million naira or so.
Okay.
Yes. I said, why Enugu? She said that's a village. I was like, okay, do you have like some special statistics of real estate appreciation about your village that you decided to buy land around that area? She said no, she just wants to buy in her village. I realized that a lot of people, from that day I mostly call her sentimental investor now. That's what I call her, because a lot of people, your village might not be the best place for you to buy a property, because that is the only place they know, and people don't mostly make findings to know where is the right place to actually invest. If you're investing in property, you see them going to their village. When you have FCT doing the numbers, being one of the best places to invest in Africa,
yes,
you have the opportunity to invest in FCT, you'll be investing in your village.
Yes.
So
because the rate of the turnover here is astronomical.
Yes.
Okay, now one of the things you notice
in fact, sorry for cutting you.
Go ahead.
That astronomical turnover you talked about now, this particular building we are in,
yes,
in 2017, 2016, in Nav Valley Estates, Asokoro, they were sold between 14, 15 to 16 million naira.
Per piece.
Yes. Today, these same duplexes cost around 300 to 350 million naira.
Jesus.
Yes.
That is just about 5 or 7
years.
years.
That's just about 7 years or thereabout. So you can see how fast this appreciation happen here.
And when it wants to happen, the level of it goes like 6, 7, 8 times the amount.
Yes.
That it was.
So, in fact, this is like 20 times or thereabout. This is like, that's more than 20 times, between 17 million to 300 and 350 million.
Wow.
That's like 30 times or thereabout.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So,
this is crazy. Okay. See, now the thing here is this.
yes.
One of the biggest things you notice if you are driving around mostly these Asokoro areas in Abuja,
Yes.
and all these, there are a lot of estates coming up, a lot of some places there's even no flat land. People will buy rocks and they are blasting them through.
Yes.
I remember that day when we were driving around, I was asking
Yes.
you what's going on here.
Yes.
And people were just so people are just will just buy a mountain and push go through it, or even build on top of it.
Yes.
And all. So, and I also noticed that one of the biggest demand in Abuja is that of finished housing.
Yes.
That people can occupy. And some of these estates, when you see them, they are very, very big estates.
Yes.
Like you see the level of properties inside that these developers are putting on ground. Now the question that I usually have in my mind is, how are these guys able to finance this kind of gigantic projects? Is there a grant from the government? Does the FCT minister or the presidency have a way of encouraging these developers by providing funds for them and all of that?
Okay. In fact, this is a very, very important question.
Mm-hmm.
You know, from a lot of people from the outside,
Okay.
there is one source of funding to these projects. From those people looking from outside, once you ask them, they will tell you, it's government money now. So that's the only funding source from the outside. But the reality is the contrast of that.
Okay.
There are a lot of different funding sources that developers get their funding from to build those massive projects. Some in the maybe outskirts, it can be funding from the World Bank,
Okay.
or African Development Bank.
All right.
Those can come as loans or grants. Others can be from the Federal Mortgage Bank. Yes, they have a scheme called the Developers Funding. Yes, for developers that meet their requirement, they have been disbursing funds. You have a lot of their projects around. Others are funded by the buyers.
Okay.
In fact, that is even the most common. You will realize that a lot of real estate developers are constructing very massive projects with almost nothing of theirs.
Wow.
Yes. And how it works is that if, let's say, now a developer is approaching a project of, let's say, 100 houses, for example, and each house is supposed to be sold at 100 million. Those 100 houses will amount to a 10 billion naira. Let's assume his finishing costs for those 100 houses is 7 billion naira. That's at 70 million naira.
Okay, purpose.
Yes. So meaning that developer will have a profit of 3 billion naira
At the end of the project.
at the end of that project. Most developers, for the first 10 units
Of that.
of that project, will be willing to sell even below
The cost.
the cost of their construction.
Oh, okay.
Let's say now their cost of construction and the land is 70 million naira, and now they are willing to sell for 50 million naira
Okay.
just to raise their first 500 million
To put into the project.
to put into that project. By the time they put in that 500 million,
Okay.
they will have achieved a lot that other people will come and see and key in. They know this is a serious project going on. In fact, those first 10 or first 20 that are being sold at a discounted price, those are off-plan sales. That's a topic I would like us to go into in another episode, because it's another major way people make billions in real estate. Because these off-plan sales now, most of those projects now, the projection is to sell at 100 million. If a developer is serious, in 8 months, 9 months, those projects can actually sell for 150 million.
Wow.
Yes. So imagine you've bought for 50 million naira and these things can now sell for 150. You're selling for 150.
So making extra 100 million.
Very good. And don't forget, those off-plan sales are mostly not outright sales. Yes, probably you took 3 months to even pay that 50 million.
That 50 million.
Yes,
Okay.
that 50 million there. Yes. So these then you have what's the name? The popular seller funding. Seller funding are done in like the rent to own schemes, the different rent to own schemes. Those ones, you have sellers with big capital base that can build those houses and give to potential buyers to pay within the next 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, and what have you.
Wow.
So there are a lot of different funding sources that these developers use to fund their projects.
Wow,
Yes.
that is. The thing about this business is, the more you listen, the more you hear,
Yes.
and the more you get deeper into the system, and you understand that, man, there are a lot of possibilities in real estate that
That's correct.
everyone should tap into. Okay, finally, let me just ask you this part. Now, you are one of the co-owners of CityBets,
Yes.
real estate company here in Abuja. You
Yes.
guys currently have properties that you're selling. Do you have offers that you're giving?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Amongst your properties now, which one is the most affordable?
Okay, the most affordable will be the 350 square meters
Okay.
for semi-detached 4-bedroom duplex. Yes, it's going for around 8.7 million.
8.7 million.
Yes,
Ah.
8,750,000.
Are you sure I shouldn't come and buy? Because from what you told me about this very estate now, in
Yes.
5 years I'll become a billionaire.
Yes,
Because if I buy 3 and I sell at 400 million 5 years from now,
definitely.
that is, I've made $1 billion naira.
Yes,
Very easy money.
definitely.
Okay, so and these properties are ready for sale, and people can actually
Yes,
key into them right now
that's
if
correct.
they want to.
They are landed properties.
Okay.
Yes, they are available for sale. People can key into immediately.
Okay, so let's
Yes.
assume now that somebody that's watching is ready to go for inspection or something.
Yes, we have standby drivers that can
Go for
take them
inspection.
for inspection. Yes.
Okay.
So-
What areas are some of them that are ready for sale located in?
Okay, like this particular one we're talking about now is in Asoko Road 2.
Okay.
Yes, Asoko Road 2 is an area that has a very massive potential. It's currently bordering the Army Command Estate Asokoro. Yes. The Army Command Estate Asokoro is a massive development that the Army is having behind Abacha Barracks.
Okay.
For those that are familiar with that
The
access,
neighborhood.
yes, the project is being handled by the NAPL. So the Asokoro 2 now is the area bordering that estate.
Okay.
Yes.
That's all right. If anybody that wants to leave contacts down in the description of this video, maybe
Okay.
anybody that is interested can actually put in a call or send an email or something.
Definitely.
All right, Mr. Sadiq, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
This has been very
Thank you
informative.
very much for having me.
It has been very informative,
Thank
and
you
I
very much.
hope we sit down to talk more
Yes, definitely.
next on other topics.
Yes.
All right. So
Definitely.
thank you guys very much for watching. And if you're interested in any of the properties that we've talked about or we've mentioned, then you can just send an email or give us a call or send a message on WhatsApp with the numbers that are in the description below. All right. Catch you again in the next one.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.